Hello and welcome to another Game of Thrones video here on this channel, and today we're going to be reviewing last night's episode, Season 7, Episode 5, Eastwatch. But before I get into the review, I have to say, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this and want to see more videos like this in the future. And this is a spoiler review, so consider yourselves warned on all things spoilers for last night's episode, and well, I guess pretty much everything before that. If I call back to a different episode, just be warned of that. Anyway, let's get into the review. So let's start off this review with Jaime and pretty much everything that has to do with Jaime and the Lannisters and all those that side of the show. And so the episode picks up pretty much right where the last one left off, where you have Jaime and Bronn getting out of that little river or lake or pond or whatever it is, getting out of there, and they're huffing and puffing because they held their breath underwater, which is crazy because like there's literally a dragon. What? It seems like, I don't know how close they are to King's Landing that battle was, but it seems like if Dany like flew up with the dragon, she would be able to see, oh, there's two guys running there. Let's go kill them, or let's go capture them. You know, with the dragon, I feel like maybe she should have captured them, but it's fine. We get some great dialogue where the first line of the thing is, Jaime says, "You could have killed me," and then Bronn just calls him out. This is something that I was like, last week, the more I thought about last week's episode, I was like, you know what, Jaime's really stupid at the end when he's bum rushing a dragon. And Bronn calls him out on that, and that's something that I think that's really cool, that this show does really well. It's like you have Bronn in there to do things like this, where he's like, wait, hold on, I could have killed you? Did you not see the dragon in between you and Daenerys Targaryen? Like, come on, dude. Like, what's wrong with you? And then later on, he's like, a dragon doesn't get to kill you. You don't get to kill you. Only I get to kill you. So it was giving us a motivation as to why Bronn would save Jaime. Not only because he wants his castle still and is a lot of gold and stuff like that, but he's like, you know what? Until I get my castle, I'm not gonna allow you to die yet. And it was a nice short little scene where you have Bronn pretty much roasting Jaime for what he did at the end of the last week's episode. And then next time we pick up with Jaime and the Lannisters and everything, we have Jaime, he goes to Cersei, and it's cool because it looks like he didn't change at all. Like, as soon as he got into King's Landing, he went and he found his sister and was like, hey, dude, that was just one dragon and we got wrecked. Like, we got genuinely wrecked. Our armies are not suitable. And he even said it. Hey, the crossbow, the scorpion, that thing didn't do a lot, man. It was nothing to that compared to the dragon. I know it didn't hit the dragon in a vital spot, but Jaime was like, dude, if they've got 3 of those things, we are in huge trouble. We should absolutely think about the future and think about maybe, I don't know, calling a truce or something, because that's the way Jaime feels about it. And Cersei is on the opposite, to where she's like, hey, if we bend the knee, if we give up, they're gonna kill us because of all the bad things that we've done to them. And if we fight, they're gonna kill us. So why not fight and at least take some of them down with us? And that's something that I think is very smart. It's like, if you only have those two options, because at this point, Cersei, in their minds, she knows that she's done some pretty wicked stuff, some pretty evil stuff. So I think she knows that if she were to bend the knee, if she were to give up, surrender, that Dany most likely would kill her because of all the literally terrible things she's done to not only, the Starks, but to Tyrion. And she's done some, bad stuff just to the people of Westeros. So that's Cersei's point, and I totally get it, because why would you just roll over and die? No, you fight to the end. You don't just give up, especially in Westeros either. You just give up, or you deserve to die. And the next time we see, the next time we are in Westeros, we have Jaime meeting with Tyrion. Now, what happens is we have. I have to give a little bit of what happens on Dragonstone, but on Dragonstone we have um, Dany, Tyrion, pretty much their war room, and you have Jon Snow. Be quiet, dog. And you have Jon Snow, and Jon Snow is telling them that they need to get proof that if Cersei is going to give up, that they're gonna have to have proof that there are White Walkers. And so, um, what happens is John is like, okay, I'm gonna go up to the wall, beyond the wall, and I'm gonna get a White Walker. We're gonna capture one, and we're gonna bring it back down, and we're gonna show it to Cersei to show that, hey, we're not lying. This is not fake, dude. These White Walkers are absolutely real. And so we have Tyrion saying, well, Cersei's not gonna listen to anybody, but Jaime can and will listen to me. And it's cool because the way he gets to talk to Jaime is he does it through Bronn, and Bronn sets up a meeting down where the dragon skulls are, which is a really great room. I wish like they would do more stuff down there. Anyway, they meet up, and Tyrion pretty much tells Jaime, "Hey, bad stuff is happening. Bad stuff is happening," and then Jaime goes and he tells Cersei about the meeting. Of course, Cersei knows because of the Maester is, all of his birds and little kids who are spies, getting them when they're young. But Cersei knows about it, and Cersei says she's pregnant, which is like, oh, okay, that makes sense with what they've been doing in their night lives. But it seemed like she was happy, because now she might have something to weigh her down, something to make her human again, something that will make her something for her to lose. Like a lot of people say that the most dangerous people are those who have nothing to lose, and that right now is Cersei. But if she's got a kid, then she's gonna have something to lose. She's gonna have something to love. She's going to become emotional again, and not just anger either, not just revenge. I think that might be her downfall, is her kids, that might make her not as ruthless. But then again, you never know. It is Game of Thrones, so they could throw a curveball in there. But that's pretty much everything that happens in King's Landing, and focused around the Lannisters. I think that the absolute standout is Bronn, though. Like, even though he's not in a lot of scenes, I think he's really fun. I think he's really cool. I think he brings something to Jaime that we haven't had. We haven't had since we last saw Bronn with Jaime. And so to bring him back into the series and to have him back now, just hanging out with Jaime, I think is a good thing for Jaime and for us to have that character, because Bronn really is like the one to bring Jaime down to ground level. Bronn is the one to bust, to roast him. Bronn is the one to call him out. Bronn is the one who's pretty much humanizing Jaime. Let's move on to Dragonstone and Dany and everybody that is in that camp, so to speak. When we first pick up with them, we have Dany and the Dothraki, and they're rallying up the Lannister army to capture them or burn them, should they wish to be burned. But there's a scene right after you have that first scene with Jaime and Bronn. You have Tyrion Lannister, who is just walking through the ashes and seeing what the dragon did and what the war looked like. It was crazy, man. I think it was definitely like an eye-opening experience for the character of Tyrion, to seeing like, hey, these dragons are not so bueno, not so bueno. And that's an unfortunate thing, that like I don't think, and I hope not, that Tyrion is going to turn on Dany, but like this gives into that feeling just a little bit that he's like, you know what, maybe dragons aren't so great for the people of Westeros or the people of the world in general. But in this scene, you have Dany burning Randall Tarly and Dickon Tarly alive in front of their army because they wouldn't bend the knee. Because Dany's like, hey, bend the knee or die. No other choices. And Randall and Dickon are like, nope. Well, actually, Randall's like, nope. And Dickon is standing there. And then he's like, you know what? If you're gonna kill him, you gotta kill me too. And that's something that's really, I think it's really cool. I think that, I mean, not really cool that they get burned alive, but I think it's really cool that Dickon's like, he's a man, dude. Like, for as much as like Bronn and Jaime made fun of him last week or even the week before, it doesn't matter. As much as we make fun of him, we laugh every time we hear his name. This dude is cool. This dude is a man. Like, he's like, you know what? No, I'm a man. I can stand up for myself. I will die with my dad because, he took up a side, and it just happened to be the losing side in that battle. And so he was like, hey, I'm a man. I can take my punishment. Let's do this thing. And I thought that was very noble. I thought that, in my eyes, it made Dickon a better character. It made him a cooler character, in my opinion, because he wasn't just like, you know what, I'm gonna bend the knee because I don't want to get eaten. No, he was like, he had his convictions. He stood by his dad, and it was a very noble moment in the show. And Dany burns them alive, even though Tyrion says not to, and that might be another thing that that we pick up later with Tyrion and Varys talking about what Dany did, how she burned them alive, and how maybe Tyrion could have prevented it, but Tyrion was like, she gave them a choice, and she didn't want to back down. She didn't want to put them in chains, because then, like, you don't want to be carrying around prisoners, because that hinders you as an army, because now you got to worry about them, you got to worry about feeding them, you got to worry about putting them somewhere and guarding them. And so Dany was like, nope, you either die or bend the knee. They didn't die, and then and they did die, but as soon as they burned, like, everybody in the Lannister army that was still alive, they bent the knee immediately. They were like, nope, that's not happening to me, because, like, Dickon and Randall, they literally, like, melted. It was crazy. They just, like, when it was dust after a minute. It was very well shot, and it was very well done. And then you have Jon Snow meeting a dragon. Woo! You have Jon Snow, like, petting a dragon, and the dragon Drogon is actually letting him pet him, which is crazy, man. And then, like, Dany's, like, checking it out, making sure that Drogon doesn't, like, bite his hand off, and he doesn't. Good job. Now he's not like Jaime. But yeah, Jon's petting the dragon. Dany looks like, hey man, this guy could ride a dragon. Hopefully she's thinking that. If not, man, eventually. But yeah, she gets off the dragon. She talks to Jon, and then Sir Friendzone comes. Woo! Sir Friendzone, he's back. Still in the friend zone, but he's back. At least for this episode, anyway. Which is nice. You have Dany reunited with Sir Friendzone. He's back. He has no more grayscale. Like, she hugs him, and then I was like, whoa, he might still have some, be careful. He might still have some grayscale on him. Just watch out. But he's back. Oodalali, way to go. And the next scene, this doesn't really have to do with Dragonstone and all the people that are there, but this next scene is very important because you have Brand warging into some ravens, and he checks out where the Night King is and where the army of the dead are. And that Night King, like, it kind of stinks for the whoever's playing the Night King, because, like, he's got to put a lot of makeup on just for literally, like, a 5-second shot, and then, well, maybe like a 10-second shot. So, like, I don't know. The dude probably spent like 4 hours getting into makeup, and he shot like 20 minutes probably, or even less than that. I don't know. But yeah, Bran checks out where the Night King is, and that has ramifications for what happens later on in the episode. Still in Dragonstone, and you have Tyrion and Varys talking about controlling Dany, and this is a conversation that could be very interesting, very important, because you have Tyrion. He's pretty much like making excuses without making excuses for why he let Randall and Dickon die. Like, he feels like he let them die, or he allowed them to die. It was his fault. But he's like rationalizing it by saying, look, Dany gave them both a choice. They both took up arms against her, and she gave them a choice, and they didn't choose to bend the knee. So they died. Like, that's just what happened. And then you have Varys saying, like, well, that's what I thought about the Mad King when he was burning people alive in the throne room. Varys was just the guy who got the information that they were traitors and was telling the Mad King, and then the Mad King would go, he would get them, then he would burn them. And Varys said that I kept on saying all I was doing was pointing out the traitors, but I was like Varys felt Varys was rationalizing back then that he wasn't actually burning the people. He was just, pointing out the traitors. But still, it's like, if you point them out, you're practically burning them because you're dooming them by pointing them out. So that was a very interesting conversation between them. I hope that they don't try to control Dany. I hope that they don't do their Game of Thrones stuff that Varys has been known to do to control Dany. I hope that Tyrion still. I hope that he understands that with Dany, there is no time. Like, with Dany, and especially with the White Walkers coming so quickly, um, or on their way, I guess. You don't have time to take prisoners. You don't have time to work out the minutia of what's going on here. You just gotta either bend the knee or die. And I hope that Tyrion understands that. But the pretty much what happens next is you have your war room. We get back to the war room, and we have Jon getting the raven that Bran sent out about the Night King and where he is. And Jon's like, hey, I gotta go home. They're on their way quickly. Like, I gotta go home. I gotta prepare. We gotta be ready. I gotta be ready, or else the wall is gonna come down, or something. Something bad is gonna happen soon. So Jon's like, I gotta go home. And Dany's like, well, you don't have enough people, right? And then Tyrion's like, maybe not. Maybe we could get Cersei and them to help us out. And that's where you have Tyrion. Excuse me. You have Tyrion saying that, hey, Jaime will listen to me. And then that's where you have him and Davos go off to King's Landing. But that there's a great line in this where Dany's like, but you don't have permission to go home. And Jon's like, you know what? I don't need your permission. I'm a king. Oh, excuse me, sorry. And that, I thought that was like one of the best lines in the entire. I think that was like my favorite line of this episode. He was like, with all due respect, I don't need your permission. I'm a king. And then Dany just absolutely respected that. And that's something that, like, we haven't seen Dany do lately. But, like, this time, I mean, every other time she's like, bend the knee, bend the knee. This time he's like, I don't need you. I'm a king. And then she just sits there and takes it. And I was like, okay, sweet. Now Dany's getting to understand. And Jon Snow's getting to understand that him and Dany are both. They're both very hard-headed, I guess. And now Jon is starting to show that, hey, I don't care what you say. Like, you got your dragons and everything, but I trusted you. I came here. I trusted you. Now you gotta trust me. And that was something that was pretty cool. And so what happens is we skip to towards the later part of the episode, and you have John leaving Dragonstone with Ser Jorah, with Sir Davos, who came back with Gendry. That's right, Robert Baratheon's son. And I think that, like, one of the coolest parts is when you have Gendry and Jon Snow talking, and Gendry, like, Davos tells Gendry to, like, keep it to himself that he's Robert Baratheon's son, but Gendry's like, you know what? Jon Snow is also an illegitimate kid. Like, he Gendry just tells him straight away, I'm Gendry. I'm on Robert Baratheon's son. Like, I'm his illegitimate kid, and so I thought that was really cool. And then you just have them kind of talking about their fathers, like where Jon Snow is like, I heard so many stories about them together, and then Gendry's like, well, all I know is that they fought together and won. So if we can do the same, it's all good. Um, and Gendry totally believes her Davos because I assume on the way back from King's Landing, Sir Davos was like, hey, we got White Walkers up above the wall. It's bad. Those things are coming. They're going to kill us all. And Gendry absolutely believes him because when he talks to Jon Snow, he's like, hey, if what Sir Davos is telling me is true, then you guys are gonna need all the people you can get, and I'm ready, I'm willing, and you don't need a blacksmith because you have a Valyrian steel sword. And so I thought that was pretty cool, and he recognized that. And so Gendry's actually pretty cool. He's like one of the other standouts of this episode, where you have a pretty cool character. He's coming back. Hopefully that doesn't mean he's gonna die, but it probably will. He's probably dead. I mean, it's Game of Thrones, so yeah, he's probably dead. But he's pretty cool. I liked his hammer. His hammer looked pretty cool. When he took out those two guards in King's Landing, I was like, yep, dude can handle himself. So yeah, I think that everything that happened in Dragonstone, like at Dragonstone or around those characters who are based there, I think it was all cool. Now we have Jon Snow's not there anymore. We have Tyrion Lannister, who's got a message to Jaime. Hope maybe, I don't think for one bit though that like Cersei is going to join up with them. If they do, then it'll be kind of weird for me because of what Cersei is. I know she said that we've got when she was talking to Jaime, she was like, we gotta do this like Dad would do it. We gotta be smart about it. We gotta be subtle. We gotta be sneaky about it. We gotta be better than them at having the power. And so I don't know if Cersei's gonna join up. I hope not, but we're heading in that direction. I hope not, but we're heading in that direction. But we do need the manpower that the Lannisters can provide to fight the White Walkers. So yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we will. Now we move on to Winterfell, and not a lot happened in Winterfell. Maybe in the future, I will come back, or maybe in the future I will understand that a lot actually did happen. But in my opinion, not a lot happened. But as far as right now, not a lot happened. I think that maybe a lot happened as far as setup. But we have Arya giving her 2 cents on the situation up in the north, and she pretty much says that, hey, the lords of the north just pretty much insulted Jon Snow by saying they maybe should have chosen Sansa as the king or queen in the north instead of him. And Arya's like, dude, they insulted him. You should cut their heads off. And then Sansa's like, okay, hold on. Not, cutting people's heads off is not the only way to get things done. And it's true. True. Absolutely true. That's true. But like after that, there's only one other scene in Winterfell sequence, and you have Arya following Littlefinger around and seeing what he is doing, and it seems like he's doing his little finger stuff, getting information, spying, doing shady things, and she finds a raven's message, but she's following him around and she sees him go into a door, and then once he leaves she goes into the door and she finds a raven's message. Now we don't know what the raven's message was. We don't know what it says, but we know that it's an old Raven's message, that it was a copy of one of the other Raven's message, because they make copies of the messages all the time. So we don't know what it says. I didn't pause it to see. Maybe I should have. So it probably says something. I'm sorry that I didn't pause it, but I was too excited to see what happened next. But when she walks out the door, she locks it again, and then we see Littlefinger looking at her from the shadows. Now it does seem like he planted that there. He wanted her to find that message. So I wonder. I don't know if Arya is going to take that to Sansa. I don't know if she's going to do something on her own with the information that was on that message. But you never know. You never know, because Arya's weird. She's crazy. She wants to cut some heads off. Hopefully, it's not somebody that is important to the story. Let's talk about Sam and Sam. Samwise Tarly. He is there. The raven that Bran sent out about the Night King. Sam is like the maesters at Old Town obviously get it. Archmaester gets it, and Sam is like, dude, it's real, it's real, it's real. And still the maesters are like, are you kidding me? Come on, like, really, you stupid moron. Just continue copying somebody else's work, because you're never going to do anything if you keep on saying it's real. But it's real, you guys. Even the Archmaester's like, it could be real, but it's probably not. It's like, dude, Samwise is like, he's never given you any cause to not believe. You know? Like, Gilly, the next time we see him, Gilly is reading and Sam is like copying somebody else's work, and Gilly's like, she's talking about John's parents. She's like, Rhaegar got an annulment, meaning that John is not an illegitimate child, that he's actually a legitimate child. So that means that he is the next in line, as far as we know. So that's kind of important, but Bran knows that. So I thought, like, it was like, well, maybe if John wanted like a second opinion on his parentage, after Bran eventually, like, come on, you guys, Bran's gotta tell John eventually that he's a Targaryen. But I thought it would have been nice to have like a second opinion, or a second person saying, hey, yeah, you're really a Targaryen. But it doesn't matter. Sam leaves, and he leaves, but he takes like a lot of books and scrolls, but it seems like he takes them just at random out of the restricted area. And it was kind of like, okay, if he finds something in those books that he stole, and the scrolls that he stole from Old Town, it's going to be like, well, that was really lucky, because you're just picking stuff at random to just take, and you're not even checking them before you take them. So I think that was like, okay, all right, whatever. I'm glad that he kind of left, because, to be honest, I was getting frustrated with him there. It seemed like nobody believed him, even though he did the whole grayscale Ser Jorah thing. Like, you still aren't going to believe this guy. You're not going to give him any credit for anything. So I'm actually glad that he left. At least, maybe, hopefully, he'll find something in the books and scrolls that he stole that will help us defeat the Night King. But that's pretty much it for Samwise. And your last bit of your this week's episode, we have Jon Snow I think Tormund. Yeah, Tormund and everybody who's above the wall. Well, not at the wall. Ser Jorah also. Yeah, you have them. They're gonna go up above the wall, and it's funny because Tormund's like, he's talking to Sir Davos, and he's like, I thought you were the one who's supposed to talk him out of these stupid ideas, but he uses some stronger language than that. And Sir Davos is like, yeah, well, I am, but didn't work out so well this time. But Tormund is like, he's always a highlight of any episode that he's in because he's like, how many men did you bring? And Jon's like, not enough. And then Tormund's just like, did you bring the big lady? And it was so nice because even it's nice to know that even the people of writing Game of Thrones and even the characters like Jon Snow laughs because that Tormund likes her and that Tormund is not making it like subtle at all, and that's what's cool about it. That's what's fun. Um, but you have them, and then you have the followers of the light, the bandit, not the bandits. What are they called? The followers of the light, the dudes with Sir Clegor, or yeah, Clegane, not Clegor, Gregor Clegane, whatever his name is, the Hound, the people with the followers of the Lord of Light with the Hound. They got picked up by the scouts below the wall, and what happened and they got thrown in jail because the wild people are like, why do you want to go above the wall? Because we have a mission. Well, you're crazy, let's throw you in jail. So what happens is Jon Snow's like, well, we're kind of all the same, we're all going above the wall, we all got a mission above the wall. Hopefully that doesn't bite them, come back to bite them, Jon Snow and them, because you have the people who are following the Lord of Light, and those dudes I don't think they have the same goal of capturing a White Walker and bringing him back. I don't know what their goal is. I don't know. I didn't even think they know. So it's like, well, nobody knows except for the Lord of Light, which it can be misinterpreted sometimes. But hey, it's a good way to get more people to go above the wall to help out Jon Snow. Hopefully he doesn't die. Woohoo! I feel like the Hound might die though above there, and the dude with the patch, the one-eyed guy, I think he's gonna die too. It's unfortunate, but I don't see these people living long. The followers of the Lord of Light don't always. It doesn't always pan out for them. But that's pretty much the end of the episode. And that's pretty much my review of the episode. Overall, I think it's a good episode. I think it's really good. I think actually, before I did the review, I was like, you know what? Not a lot happened, but the more I think about it, yeah, kind of a lot did happen. We get Jon going above the wall. We get Cersei having a kid now that could change their whole dynamic down in King's Landing. Her and Jaime's dynamic. You have Tyrion doing what he's doing. You have Tyrion and Varys doing what they're doing. So it does seem like a lot happened without a lot of fighting, if that makes sense. But that's my thoughts. I want to know what you think about this episode. I think it's a really good one. What do you think? Tell me that in the comment section down below. And if you enjoy this video and want to see more videos like this, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And if you hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, it will notify you every time I put up a new video. And thank you for watching this one.